Going on to the other coast now, out to the West Coast, where I think everybody kind of expected this team to kind of drown, especially after losing Paul George and,
And not having Kawhi
not having Kawhi
at
available.
all.
The Clippers were supposed to be a shit show. But the system, as he dubbed himself, and honestly, he shut us up because he's hooping. James Harden is carrying the Clippers right now.
He is.
Everything he's got going on right now, 22 points per game, 7 rebounds, 8.9 assists, and almost 2 steals a game, which is not quite vintage James Harden, but we're talking maybe 8 points less off of like what he was averaging as an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still very much I'm nice. And
Right.
I had this video that I made earlier for one of our other projects where the hook was, I guess Father Time is low key getting his ass kicked because there's still a lot of good old heads in the league today. But conversation for another day.
Conversation for another day.
The Clippers are rolling. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing from James, from Norm, even like this team as a whole? Like, what do you Clippers 13-9, by the way? Just talk to me about the Clips.
13-9, 60 in the West. That's not what I expected out of them at this point in the season. I think they're off to a really good start considering they probably had one of the worst off seasons this year, just as far as losing out on your star player and your other star player being hurt and not being able to count on him. Norman Powell, I think, has been the biggest, you look at his numbers compared to before, and he's averaging, I think at one point he was averaging 25 a game. I'm not too sure where he's at now, but
yeah,
he's stepped up huge. Zubac has been having a good year. You're having a few key bench guys that are stepping up, and of course, like you mentioned, James Harden being the system that he is. I mean, he's old. He's older. He's not the James Harden that we once were seeing when he was in Houston or nothing like that. But I mean, he's showing that he can still carry a team, at least to the extent, the Clippers being the 6th seed right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's sustainable because I'm looking at the standings right now. You have the Suns below them, the Lakers below them, the Nuggets below them, and the Timberwolves and Kings who are out of the play-in. But like those are 2 teams that you could, people might expect to be in a playoff hunt. And then the Spurs, who are also, they're 11-9, they're positive. I said this with the Bucks. It's a long season, like great start for LA and the Clippers, but Phoenix Suns had a few injuries, so they slipped a little bit. The Nuggets are still kind of figuring it out. The Kings have had a few injuries here and there. The Timberwolves, their chemistry looks terrible, but again, it's a long season. Those teams are going to figure it out, or you'd hope so. And the Clippers, they're looking good right now, but they need to do a lot to stay where they are and to maintain that playoff position. I'm not too sure if I can count on James Harden doing what he's doing now for a full 82 games. If he does, hey, prove me wrong. We can clip this off and we can play it for everyone. Extend it to cold takes. But right now, I mean, again, good for them. I don't see them sticking around in this playoff picture for the entirety of the season.
I'm gonna go against the grain here. I actually kind of do. And
okay. Why? Because that's your favorite LA team?
Oh, I'm gonna kick your ass.
No wonder why you're saying that. It's
man, it's definitely not the brighter side of LA. But I give the Clippers their props mainly because of Ty Lue. Like,
I mean, you can't discredit him. He's a phenomenal coach, and he's made everything work.
Being able to settle out the rotation the way that he has, especially to kind of complement, James Harden's take. Like, we all thought he was crazy. We have the proof from the videos over the summer. Like, dude, you're not that guy anymore. Like, to call yourself the system just because you happen to re-sign with this team, you lost Paul George. Like, we were talking hella shit.
Big statement for a 34-year-old.
My point exactly. So why am I supposed to take that seriously? But, where are my manners? How did I forget? Like, we are in the 21st century and it is 2024 and we got about, X amount of days until 2025 comes through. So modern medicine is up to date. Training is up to date where he can keep his body fresh. I mean,
technology, all this stuff.
We see LeBron doing it. We see Kevin Durant doing it. We see Steph Curry. But for some reason, we kind of shelve James Harden like, well, you're kind of done because you've been on 3 different teams in the last 4 years.
But, like, can you blame us? I mean, his track record and what he's done to get out of situations and, things he's done and said, like, he's made us think of him a certain way and look at him a certain way.
It literally made us, it rubbed us the wrong way to where we didn't really want to view him as that MVP caliber or super elite Hall of Fame player that we know that he is. But to
Yes.
think of himself in that light was it was a little much for us, which is why we trashed him. We trashed the Clippers because I got tired of betting on the Clippers to go somewhere every
Yes.
year.
Yep.
So I'm not going to make that same mistake again to think that they're going to go to the NBA Finals or anything like that. But I think the fact that they're sitting at the sixth spot right now, above 4 games, above 500, I know the teams beneath them, you could make the argument that they're better, especially Phoenix, given that they were at the top before Kevin Durant got hurt.
Yeah.
But I think adding Kawhi Leonard, I think maybe I'm putting too much stock into this dude. But
yeah, I didn't mention him for a reason because I can't count on him. I can't.
I wholeheartedly
He's
understand.
no factor into this for me right now.
But you said if with the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm gonna use the if here for the Clippers.
Fair enough. Yeah.
This kind of feels like a mid-season acquisition because we haven't seen him in so long.
Absolutely,
right?
Sure.
So now you're getting Kawhi back into the fold, into what's going on, and I don't want to make it seem like he's going to be a system player, but to some degree, I'd make him play off of James Harden.
There ain't no way he's coming back and they're like, okay, we play through you now.
No,
everything he hasn't earned that, and that should not be the case when he comes back.
You play through James Harden the whole entire time because he's gotten you guys this far.
And if he comes back and he's looking like vintage Kawhi, then yeah, we can have that conversation of
we'll ease him in,
right? But that ain't off rip. That is not happening.
No,
that shouldn't happen.
Let's play hypotheticals here, though. Let's say that Kawhi does come back and he's healthy. He looks good. Where do you stack this team up? Like, I get we don't think they're going to stay there, or you don't think they're going to stay there, but where do you put them at? Yeah, let's play this game. I know how much you love walking down this path with me. So,
listen, with Kawhi, I can't go back on what I've said in the past. When he's healthy, he's one of the top tier players in the league. I mean, I know he's older now, but we know what he can do. And maybe it's because we haven't seen a lot of it the last few years, but I'm still in the belief that he can step up when it matters the most.
Yeah.
What I've said the last 5 minutes is, again, I didn't mention Kawhi for a reason. I don't factor him in because you can't count on him. You can't. You can't do it. But in this case, we are. Okay? Hypothetically, we are in this case. With Kawhi Leonard on that team, when everything that I've said in the past, the logic being, yes, I do believe that they are a playoff team with Kawhi Leonard in the way James Harden is playing. Remove Kawhi Leonard from this situation, I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't think it's sustainable. If Kawhi comes back midseason and he's, like you said, like this big acquisition, free agent sign, you get this guy halfway through the year, you're already cruising, now you're adding this piece, sure. I think that there is a good chance that they can do it. But where it stands right now, I don't know like how things are going with Kawhi. I'm hearing things about him getting better and we're getting closer and closer, but I don't believe shit. I won't believe it until I see it, and that's where I stand with the Clippers.